What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Carefree Lucy, and welcome back to a different sort of video to what I usually do. I thought with the international break and everything in the 2 weeks without Chelsea playing, I thought it'd be a good chance to evaluate the performance of the players so far, because we are about 3 months into the season. So I'm thinking of making this a little series I'm going to try and rate the players now. I'm going to rate them in mid-January or mid-February, and I'm also going to rate their performance overall at the end of the season. So going into this, I'm going to make it a two-part series. In this one, I'm just going to be doing the goalkeepers, the defenders and the wing-backs, and in the next video, we're going to go into the midfielders and the strikers. So starting off, we're going to start in goal. We're going to start with Thibaut Courtois. Personal thoughts is I'm going to give him an 8. Personal thoughts on him is that he hasn't really done much wrong this season. Only kept 5 clean sheets, but again, a lot of those goals could be brought down to just bad defending, and another ones could just be simple wonder strikes, like Dzeko's first goal against us in the 3-3 draw at Roma at Stamford Bridge. So Courtois, think about it, I'm kind of edging to the 7 or 8, but because I can't really see much wrong that he's done this season, I'm going to give him an 8. Willy Caballero hasn't seen much game time this season. He's only really played in the Carabao Cup, Caballero's only played in the Carabao Cup. Great performance against Everton, really good shot stopping. Nottingham Forest, he didn't really do much wrong, but he stood out a lot more against Everton. But again, because he's only played 2 games, he's not really going to get a high rating. I'm just going to leave him with a 6. Going into defenders now, this is where the ratings are probably going to start to dip down a little bit. David Luiz, I'm going to give him a 5. Thought he had a really good start to the season, and also because he can play really well in a midfield role. But in defence, I think after he got sent off against Arsenal, his performances did start to dip. There was the iffy performance against Atletico Madrid, conceding the penalty, one of the wrong things that he was doing in that game. The Palace game in itself, where, to be fair, a lot of players can be criticised for their performance. And also due to the fact that he's probably, well, as it stands, looks like he's probably not going to play for us again after the alleged row with Antonio Conte. So for David Luiz, I'm going to give him a 5 because he's had a great start to the season, but has just dropped off. So I can't give him a terrible rating. So I'm going to give him a 5. Moving on to the next centre-back, we're going to go to Gary Cahill, who has started off this season as our new captain with John Terry departing for Aston Villa, and has been in a serious fight for his position in the team. But due to inconsistent performances, a lot of fans are really pushing for Rudiger and Christensen to get more game time over him. And to be fair, you can see why. He honestly just looks really shaky in a back three, and for our captain, doesn't really look like he is playing as the captain. And to be fair, you can say that you will only see him playing for 90 minutes in a week, but they are the 90 most vital minutes in a week, and if you don't see him performing as a captain, then questions are going to start to be asked. I will say that he has improved towards the last few games not the last few games of the season, last few games of this ratings video, but before that was just too many inconsistent performances, so Gary Cahill's going to get a 4 from me. Moving on to Antonio Rudiger, who has had a very solid start to the season. Again, can't really say he's done much wrong, bar the Roma game where he was just awful, but again, a lot of players were below par for that game. But other than that, to be honest, he's just really had a solid start, so I'm just going to stick him with a 7 because I haven't really seen much wrong with him, bar 1 game. Moving on to Andreas Christensen, and this guy has seriously impressed since joining us. Barely put a foot wrong. The only real mistake I've seen him make was not being closer to Christensen for the first goal that Dzeko scored, that volley that he scored from outside the box in a 3-3 draw. Other than that, barely put a foot wrong. With David Luiz now looking like he's no longer going to be playing for us, this is Christensen's time to shine. And if he plays just like he's been playing already, the sky's the limit for him. So I'm going to give him a 9. Well, I was speaking to Louis about it before. He thought that was a bit too much, but
No, I didn't.
yes, you did.
That's bullshit.
Come on.
Why every single time? Because you're recording my flat. All I have is you going, right, move on, because I'm not in shot, Lewis. Good lad, there we go. Alright, well, that's bright. Whose lights that? Oh yeah, it's mine. Yeah, I think, right, put it this way. Just turn everything off. I think for what he's done, you know, he's not really been a major player. It's sort of like, yeah, you know, he's not done anything wrong, that's why you give him a 9, I can see it, but like I said, he's not really been that key of a player, has he? You know, it's like giving Danny Drinkwater like a 7 or something, because he has performed well, but he's only played for 2 games. Like, you know, it's tough.
I know, but like just looking at every single performance he has had, especially in key games like the Manchester United game. So you can't, if he'd only played 2 games in the Carabao Cup and he played brilliantly in those, I still wouldn't have given him a great rating, but he's played Carabao Cup games, he's played Champions League games. He has had a very influential part in our team.
He has. I do think he deserves a start. I think the whole David Luiz thing's rubbish. Like, I mean, come on, it's paper talk. And like, people that have been talking about it.
Conte didn't immediately shut it down though, that's the thing.
No, come on, let's be real. If he is gone, then it will come out.
I'm not going to say he's gone, but I think he is really out of favour with Conte.
Of course he is. If someone was to question my tactics as a manager, which has happened, you know, you don't exactly go and take that gracefully, do you? I mean, you worked hard at it. Conte works hard. I think it's Luiz that was a problem with the system. He's almost gone back to being Sideshow Bob again. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think, to be honest, right, it's not worth talking about the David Luiz thing. It's a case of, you know, people are talking about it for the sake of it, you know, YouTube, people are talking about it for the sake of views, people are talking about it
I hope it's not true.
Yeah, no, there's a reason we haven't done a video on it. Because you wait for it to develop, you're not just going to do like stuff like, you know, you don't just talk about stuff for the sake of it, and when you see stuff like that in the paper, an international break, there's a reason why it's your international break. Yeah, right, no, but this way, another example, last internationals, do you remember Arsenal, there was the whole thing, Ozil and Sanchez didn't turn up to this dinner thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was in the papers, that was in the Evening Standard. I remember because me and my dad were sat down reading it, it was like, it's there because there's nothing else to talk about.
I never heard anything
but that's the thing, like, it's
a dinner.
And it was like a dinner or a show or something like that, but I mean, you know, it just, in international break, things are spoken about because there is nothing else to talk about. You haven't got football, like, you can't lead up to an international game because there's no more hype in the games anymore. Excuse me. You know, people just don't care, to be honest, about England. And, you know, if there's something to be spoken about, so, David Luiz left out the squad. Can we spin that anyway? Yeah. I mean, put it this way, if in 3 weeks' time the story remains the same, that's when you can turn around and go, okay, maybe he is out of favour. But other than that, I just feel that, you know, it's a story for the sake of it. But back to topic on Christensen.
Yeah.
Yes, I think if the way you're looking at it, a 9 is fair. But for overall, I'd probably give him a 6 or 7, maybe tops, because he's not been as pivotal. But that's my opinion. Obviously, he was great for Spurs.
This is something we can discuss. And if you guys want to discuss it, leave a comment down below. I'll be there. I'll respond to any comments you have. If you guys agree, if you guys disagree with any of my ratings, leave a comment down below.
I ain't got a video on my channel this week, have I? It's not a football game. So,
what's your channel name?
Everyone, I'm not plugging it again, mate. I mean, we don't have to. Louis Beneventi. You know, it's down there. I think, you know, if you want to see a video, I'd be good. I don't know what to talk about really, but yeah, I personally give Christensen a 7, although he was very good against Man United and he was very good against Tottenham. I think this is his potential to get into the side.
Yeah,
he needs to take it with both hands.
I believe he will. The way he's been playing right now, so composed. I think he'll just keep playing the same way he normally does. You won't see much pressure from him. You won't see him feeling any pressure from him.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Right, get on with the player. Bye, guys.
Okay, on to the wing backs now, and we're going to Victor Moses, who again has dipped from last season as well. I was going to give him a 5, but I found out that he had 0 goals and 0 assists, and then it started to play on my mind that, yeah, Victor Moses hasn't really been at fault, at specific fault for any of our losses. You can't point and say Victor Moses is the reason why we lost, but can you say he contributed to any of our wins? I can't really say that either, to be honest. I just think he's been there. I'm not going to say he's genuinely been at fault, but he hasn't influenced our wins. He hasn't been a part of our defeats in any way. He's just been there. So with that, I'm probably just going to give him a 4 because he simply has not been influential enough this season. He has been nominated for the African Footballer of the Year award, but let's be honest, those sorts of awards are usually based on last season's performances, not the performances of this season. So I can understand him being put up for the African Footballer of the Year award, but honestly, this season he just hasn't been good enough, so I'm going to have to give him a 4. Moving on to Azpilicueta, who, again, at the start of the season was as good as he's always been, always at his consistent best. Every time he's worn the armband, you can see it just changed him a little bit. He becomes a lot more vocal on the pitch. You can see what the armband does to him. It means a lot to him, and that sort of passion is loved by me and personally by all Chelsea fans. But there was also a little dip in form around mid-October. Just a small dip of form, but again, it could be at fault due to the lack of squad depth and the fixture pile-up in mid-October correlating with the bad form, because you did see him start to improve towards the Manchester United game, so I'm not really going to look that much into it. I think the drop in form is the only reason why I don't give him an 8, so as for Azpilicueta, I'm going to give a 7 for. Also going into wing-backs now, Zappacosta, who had a memorable start with that goal against Qarabag, hasn't featured regularly though for us. He's had a couple of appearances now. Victor Moses come out injured in the Premier League, but other than that, he's only been restricted to Champions League and Carabao Cup appearances. Didn't think he was at his best against Rome at the home game, but for his start to the season, it has been solid, so I'm going to give him a 7. I'm going to say the same thing as Rudiger. Been solid bar one game, so fair play to him. He's going to get a high rating. Moving on to left wing backs now, we're going to go to Marcos Alonso, who put himself in cult hero status after that double against Tottenham and just being completely unstoppable the entire game. But again, with the fixture pile-up, you could see a giant dip in form because Marcos Alonso has started every Premier League game, every Champions League game. The only rest he's had is Carabao Cup matches. So I can understand his form starting to dip. So again, I'm not really going to look too much into it because exhaustion has played a factor in his poor performances, but it's been a lot more poorer performances than Azpilicueta, so I'm going to give him a 6. Kennedy is the next left wing back option, and he has only really played in Carabao Cup games. He hasn't really... I thought he was brilliant against Nottingham Forest. I didn't think he was as good against Everton. But again, because he's only played 2 games, he's not really going to get a high rating, so I'm going to give him a 5. But guys, this is the first of the 2-part series of my player ratings for the Chelsea team so far. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Carefree Lewis G. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Louis Beneventi as well.
Yeah, boy!
Don't forget to like and subscribe to 100% Chelsea as well. But I'm sure most of you guys are coming down from here as well, from 100% Chelsea to watch my channel. If you guys are not, check out the channel as well. That's where most of our content does come from. And guys, don't forget to check this channel out tomorrow, where part 2 of this series will be out, where we're going to be talking about the midfielders and the strikers, and we're going to be rating them for the season so far. Again, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Carefree Lewis G, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Up the Chelsea.